This will be about autism spectrum disorder, about research and diagnosis criteria. Now, I'm just an author. I'm not a doctor. I am not a specialist, or I'm not even a teacher or a parent. I'm just someone that happens to have autism and likes to share you with personal perspectives. For the doctors out there, I don't know much about when it comes to therapy or doctor specialists, but I do know this: the early the diagnosis is for autism spectrum disorder, the much more effective the help will be. Now, I've known this because there were many occasions where children with autism, or even grown adults with autism, have happened to have their diagnosis very late in a very late time. Some folks were diagnosed at age 10. Some folks were diagnosed at age 16. However, for me personally, I was diagnosed at age 5, and there are many people out there, many children that have been diagnosed earlier than 5 years old, and that's okay. There's absolutely no contest when it comes to diagnosis at early age. So don't go out there having bragging rights, saying something along the lines of, yeah, well, I was a year earlier than you are, so we're going to have to keep that minimum, all right? But that's what I've noticed is the earlier the diagnosis, the much better the help and much more effective the help would be. The reason why for that is because once the diagnosis is in place, that's when the folks get to work, whether it be the doctors and therapists and teachers and parents and other family members out there, to work with the IEP, Individualized Educational Program, and that's why when I was 5, we went through this whole adventure when it comes to the IEP. Sometimes I used to joke around. Well, maybe I used to, but maybe sometimes anyway. But it's a whole idea where it's like I was such a troubled student that I had to repeat the preschool twice. And of course, that's more of a dark humor and that kind of stuff too. But I mean, yeah, there were some areas where I kind of need some extra help on some occasions, and in preschool and throughout the entire school career. But at least I still tried on some areas. But yeah, so the developmental preschool, that's what I mean by extra year of preschool. It's called a developmental preschool in that sort of sense, and that's because of the IEP, and that's because of the early diagnosis. So all the parents out there, feel free to examine and to pay careful, close attention to your children. Of course, every kid is different. You know, some folks are much more social, some folks are not as social. But I would just say, like I said, I'm not a parent yet, but like I always say is that parents, they would know about their kids when something seems unusual about their children. They would know right away, and I believe you're one of those parents as well. It's I believe that you would know what to do, and some folks can be quite arrogant when it comes to the possible diagnosis of autism, and it's okay. I understand how you feel. It's because it's different. It's scary, and for me, being someone with autism, it's like no harm feelings kind of stuff. It's you're not gonna hurt my feelings or anything like that. But that's just me personally, and it can be scary, and that's why it's so defiant and defensive about the whole diagnosis and stuff. And what I will say is that whether they have autism or not, they're still your kids, and I know you still love them with all your heart. And all it is when it comes to early diagnosis is only what is best for the kids, and based off of experience, based off of the stories I've seen, I do generally believe that that it'll work out. It'll work out afterwards. The end results will become fantastic and delightful in the end. So yeah, that's what I would say when it comes to early diagnosis. And you will know when you know. So when it comes to children that act certain ways, it's up to you to make that call. I can't make the calls for you. So you know what to do when it comes to that. And when the diagnosis starts, get ready to embark on a fantastic journey. So that's all I have to say about early diagnosis. This is Tyler McNamer of Autismworks. It's time to get to work to make it work. Good night.